Hello and welcome to UglyHorse Yoga on YouTube, May 2025 edition. Starting in a wide-legged balasana or child's pose, for those of you who are unfamiliar with some of the Sanskrit names. Arms out in front, maybe a nice little bolster or something underneath the chest. And let's start to walk the hands back. Coming up to all fours, bringing the knees under the hips, hands under shoulders. Let's be mindful of our props if we took any, and start to press the ground away. From here, we're going to start to find some organic movements back into Balasana and forward onto all fours, shoulders over wrists. Back into Balasana, hips back towards the heels, pressing through the hands. And back forward onto all fours, maybe shoulders over the wrists, gazing down. So if we're peering over a cliff. Back to Balasana. Inhale, back up onto all fours. Again, let's start to open up into our twisted puppy. Inhale, right arm up. Exhale through and under shoulder. Allowing that arm to touch down, bringing the gaze towards the side wall. If you've got the space, let that left arm track forward. Ensure that we're pressing through the tops of the feet. Let's start to bring that arm back. Inhale, take that right arm up. And exhale, planting that hand back down. Right into the other side. Inhale, left arm lifts. Exhale through and under shoulder. If you've got the space, that right arm tracks forward. Maybe actively pressing through those fingertips and pressing through the tops of the feet to ensure that we're not collapsing into one hip. Let's bring it back. Inhale that arm to the sky and exhale, planting it back down. Let's go ahead, curl the toes, find your way into Adho Mukha, down dog. Let the gaze drop. Checking with our alignment, let's maybe inhale, rock forward onto the toes, shoulders over wrists. Exhale, rooting down to the heels. Inhale, rocking forward, shoulders over wrists. Exhale, down towards the heels. Inhale, let's rock up. And bend the knees. Exhale, start to walk forward. Bringing hands in line with the feet. Inhale, half lift. Exhale, fold. Mindful of our props once again. Maybe we move them off to the side, or maybe we keep them close. Allowing ourselves to find a nice little dangle and pendulum swing here with the feet about hip distance. I like the idea of just kind of holding onto a little blanket to add a little more weight. Beauty, releasing that, bringing the fingers back down. Let's lift the toes. And as you exhale, rooting them all the way down, back into that forward fold. Maybe let that head drop. Slow root to rise, ragdoll on up. So sorry about the light that keeps just shining. All right, let's bring the feet together and find our way into Tadasana. Inhale, arms up, look up. Reach for that beautiful ceiling. Exhale, swan dive, forward fold. Inhale, half lift. It doesn't matter if our hands are on the ground, the shins, or the thighs here. What we're looking for is to bring that crown and tail level. And again, even if we're a little ways away from that today, that's okay. Exhale, forward fold. Take the arms wide. Inhale, root to rise, grow tall. Grabbing onto that opposite wrist, let's bring a lean over towards the right. And back to center. Grabbing onto that right wrist, start to lean to the left. And back up through to center. Fingers to the sky, reach, extend. Exhale, arms wide, finding Tadasana. Keeping the hands and the fingers engaged. Inhale, arms up. Exhale, swan dive, forward fold. Inhale, half lift. Exhale, fold. Let's plant the hands, step back, chaturanga, top of your push-up. If you need, knees can come down. Otherwise, let's take those elbows to the back wall, chaturanga dandasana. Tops of the feet come down. Inhale, up dog or cobra. Remember, difference is thighs away or towards the mat. Exhale, down dog, Adho Mukha. If you need, step it in. Checking in with the hands and the shoulders. Maybe we add a little pedal-like motion. Maybe we want to get into those hips, so we add a few circles. One side and the other, of course. Kicking my plant there, my bad. Apologies for the voiceover today. Apparently my cat turned my microphone off. Inhale, arm coming high onto the toes. Exhale, rock it back down. Inhale, right leg lifts. Let's bend that knee, heel towards the glute. Three-legged down dog. Beauty, starting to extend that leg back. And then exhale, let's bring it through, plant between the hands, and pivot back one for a warrior one variation. Inhale, we'll find our way up. If you'd like, close the gap. Maybe we interlace the fingers, palms to the ceiling, tucking the chin slightly, sink on into this warrior. Exhale, take it back, humble our warrior. Hands to the back wall, chest towards the thigh, crown towards the knee, maybe gazing to the inside of that heel. Strong and stable, we find that lift, that rise, Vira 1, Warrior 1. And let's go ahead and open into Warrior 2, Vira 2. Maybe heel toeing those feet for our alignment. Remember, toes to the side wall, heels to the side wall for that back foot. Relax the shoulders. If you need, you can gaze to the side wall as well here. Let's start to find that triangle, straighten through that front leg, hip check the back wall, pour like I'm a little teapot. Maybe keeping the gaze down at first, and then when you're ready, maybe we track that gaze towards the sky and check in with that top arm, seeing if we can bring it a little more in line with that shoulder. Mindful not to hyperextend through the knee. Let's close the gap and revolve our triangle. Remember here, you can use a block if we need. Opposite arm to the sky. We can always take triangles at a shorter or slightly wider stance. Maybe taking those feet slightly apart from one another as well. Let's go ahead and pivot onto the balls of that back foot. I want you to take a moment, find your setting, press that heel back when we're stable, rise up, high crescent lunge. And let's bring hands to heart center, Anjali Mudra. Pivoting towards the side wall, find your goddess. Heels in, toes out. Breathe. Now we're going to go ahead and turn towards that back wall. Don't mind me. I'll be turning back towards the front. So pivot that, one foot towards the back wall, and that front foot that was before is now going to become your back foot. Now I'm just going to go ahead and step through to the other side so that you can still see. And we're finding warrior two. Be mindful of that knee. It loves to track inwards. Let's see if we can remind that knee to be a little more active towards the glute, towards that side wall. Just slightly opening towards the outside of the foot, if that makes sense. Relax the shoulders, find your breath. We're going to go ahead, pivot back foot if we need to, kind of slightly step it in. That's okay. We're finding Vera one, warrior one. Interlace those fingers, palms to the sky, chin slightly down, sink on in. Weebles and wobbles are welcome. Beauty, let's humble that warrior. Take those hands towards the back wall, chest towards your thigh, crown to the inside of that knee, and gazing towards the inside of that arch. If you've got the space, feel free to interlace those fingers, getting a little deeper into the shoulders. When we're ready, taking it back up, Vera one, warrior one. Closing that gap. And breathe. Just taking a moment to let that all sink in. I totally did not forget where we were going from here. We're going to go ahead, pivot onto the balls of that back foot, finding, of course, that high crescent lunge, a little easier transition on this side. Again, to create balance, remember there is more than one way to make a cobbler. We don't always have to do it in the exact same way. In fact, life won't always present things to you in that way. Bring those hands on down. Let's step it back into our chaturanga. Remember, if you need, knees can always come down. Exhale, low chaturanga dandasana. Hover for 5, 4, 3, 2. Tops of the feet coming down. Inhale, up dog or cobra, your choice. Check in with those shoulders. And exhale back into balasana or your child's pose here, legs together. Active through those fingers, pressing those hips back. Find the sensation. Maybe let that forehead touch down and add a little rock and roll side to side. And then finding a little twist here. Let's thread that left arm under the right, palm down or up, your choice. We're still in balasana here, just bringing that gaze under that right arm. And sink on in, maybe actively pressing through those right fingertips. And making our way out and directly into the other side, threading the now right arm under the left, letting that gaze track towards the side wall. Again, palm down or up, and maybe we're actively pressing through those left fingertips. Starting to unthread ourselves here. Let's rock back, forward, onto all fours. Using that exhale, take your time. Adho Mukta, down dog. Inhale that lovely left leg up. And exhale, let's bring it through. Pivot back foot, warrior two stance, bringing that left arm to the inside of left leg, right arm up and over, extended angle. Right? Extended side angle. Remember, we can also bring the forearm to that lovely thigh, right? As well. If your chest is still more towards the ground, that's okay, but if you want, you can always feel free to open that chest towards the side wall, just like we're spilling the tea, opening the gossip, right? And let's go ahead and add some air guitar. So let's take that arm down and towards the back wall, up and over, and down towards the back wall, up and over. Beauty. Let's plant that hand down, heel toe that foot out, finding our way into that beautiful lizard. And we're going to rock forward and back, rock forward and back, and forward and back. Let's bring that knee down, step that right hand out, take the left arm up and over as we open into this twisted lizard, maybe popping onto the side of that left foot. Mindful of our shoulder here, it loves to collapse. You can see how mine is collapsing here at first until we start to actively press through that hand. Here we go, engage. Maybe we're pressing to the top of that back foot. Let's bring it back in. We're going to find our way into a malasana. So maybe light through that foot and that knee and step it forward. Triceps to the inside of those beautiful legs. If you need, block comes underneath of the glutes here or the pelvis. Option for hands down and a more rounded back body. We're going to be playing with some crow progression next here. So if you are not ready to fly, just know that you can always keep those feet grounded and just work on that rock forward here. Okay? Actively engaging, pressing the ground away, squeezing those legs to the outside of the triceps, core and mula bandha engaged. Coming back down whenever you're ready. Moving again from malasana back into our crow, maybe going a little bit deeper this time, taking those knees to the triceps or the inside of the armpits. Again, engage, tight squeeze, tight squeeze, tight squeeze. Press the ground away with those hands. And maybe bringing those toes back down and sinking back into malasana, low yogi. All right, let's again bring ourselves to press those triceps to the inside of the legs. Extending the crown towards the ceiling, bringing the hands down, lean forward, step back with the left leg. We're finding our way into that lovely lizard on the other side. Bring that knee down, step that left hand out. Inhale, right arm comes up and over. Maybe we open onto the side of that right foot, pressing actively through the back of that left foot. Again, mindful of our shoulder collapsing here. Press the ground away. Let's go ahead and bring it back around. Lifting that lovely knee away. Rock forward and back. Forward and back. Forward. Light through that knee. Let's start to heel toe that foot in slightly. Now this is where we could be opening up into that extended side angle, but I may have forgotten that on this side. So if you'd like, add it in. And that lovely play before coming back up towards the top of the mat here with the feet wide, toes out, opening into goddess pose. We are human. We do forget things. My aunt used to tell me when I was younger that I would forget my head if it was not attached. I'm starting to think she was correct on that. All right, we're playing my favorite game here now in our goddess. How low can you go? So it's an inhale, micro rise, and exhale, sink and low. Okay, inhale, micro rise, exhale, sink and low. Let's bring those hands down, walk it forward. Knees are still wide. We're coming into frog. Now I come a little out of frame, so let me just slide on back to join. And it doesn't matter if our ankles are so much in line with those knees today. I just want those legs to be as wide as you can get them. From here, you can stay lifted high on the hands, or you can join me in some playful movement. If you need, take a moment and add any kind of cushioning under the knees if that is what you need to support you here. Remember that those elbows are going to be moving back towards the back wall as we lower down into our frog, bringing the chest lower towards the ground or your mat. And then when we reach the bottom, we're going to go ahead and actively start to press those hips back towards the heels. Inhale to rise back up. Woohoo. Okay, same thing. Option to stay lifted. I must have had something good to say here. Or go ahead and join me. Let's start to lower the chest down towards the ground. Elbows closed, but pointing towards the back wall. When we reach the bottom, start to press those hips back. And inhale, come on up. I don't know, we might have one more in us. Making sure that the legs are still there, the hips haven't broken off. We're good, we're good. Whew. Alrighty, let's go ahead. Start to lower it back down. Sink in through the hips. Inhale, back up. Curl the toes and press the hips back. Adho Mukha down dog. A little bit wider stance. Find some pedal-like motion. And then bring the hands back to meet the feet, heel toeing the feet in line with the hips. Option to grab onto the toes here or maybe the elbows. Let the head hang heavy. Maybe we want to add blanket between belly and thighs and a nice bend in the knees. Beauty, bring those beautiful fingertips down. Heel toe the feet even closer together now. Let's kind of add some play here. Let's inhale, half lift, and exhale, finding our fingers to the ground. I'm going to start to lift that left heel away, crossing it over the right foot, planting it down edge to edge. And then inhale, half lift. Exhale, folding towards the ground, fingertips towards your block or maybe the mat. Beauty. Let's inhale, half lift, slide away. And exhale, sinking back into that fold. Lift the heel, uncross the leg. Again, a little organic movement. If it suits you, find that forward fold. Inhale. Half lift. Starting to lift through the left heel, crossing it over the right leg, placing that foot down edge to edge. Find that forward fold. Inhale, half lift. And exhale, fold. This is starting to prep ourselves for our eagle variation. Start to lift through that heel, uncross the legs, heel to those feet out, hip distance once again. Fingertips can stay down or grab those elbows. And that little nice pendulum swing that we started with. Finding that ragdoll leg motion up, organic movement that feels good. Once the shoulders stack, gaze can come up, Tadasana. Find that Samasthiti. Ooh, I said that wrong. That equal balance through the feet and standing. All right, bringing the feet even closer together. We're going to get into play with those eagle arm variations, starting with a lovely hug of ourself. Here, TJ makes his debut. Don't mind me while I take a moment to shoo him away from the plant. He loves to eat the spider plant, which is apparently hallucinogenic for cats. Side note, did you know your cat likes to get high? Evidence? Catnip. Anyways, we're bringing ourselves into a hug as we bring those hands towards the shoulder blades. Let's bring left arm over right to start. If the elbows line up, fantastic. If we've got a little more room, those elbows are going to start to walk away from one another as we reach deeper into this little love hug. Let's start to turn those forearms up, fingers towards the ceiling. Eventually, palms will come to touch one another. If we're not there today, that's okay. Again, let's create this boa-like constrictor movement as we're tightly squeezing towards ourselves and tightening, finding this bind. Good. Start to release, taking those arms back out. We're going to start to get into the legs here and then add the arms in after. Lift through that lovely left leg, cross it over the right. Just bring the toes down outside of the edge of the right foot. Okay, and again, we want that tight squeezing like motion, like that boa constrictor wrapping around and tightly squeezing. So keep wrapping and tightly squeezing towards yourself, that top leg around the bottom. Again, toes staying down for now. Arms out. Let's start to sink back Utkatasana style, that chair pose style. Glutes towards the back edge of your mat, sinking into that standing leg, adding in the arms, left arm over, right. Find your eagle arm variation, whether it's that self-love hug or into that full eagle arms. Relaxing our shoulders, maybe taking those fingers slightly to the sky, gaze to follow. See if we can sink in a little deeper. Keep squeezing, nice and tight. And exhale, release. Okay, uncrossing the leg, maybe we give it a little shake, a little jiggle wiggle to release. And we'll go ahead and come directly into the other side. Again, bringing those beautiful feet together, getting right arm over left. Maybe elbows are stacked, or maybe we're going a little deeper in, elbows walking away from one another as we go deeper into that hug. Beauty, checking in whenever you're ready. Let's start to bring those forearms towards the sky, flipping the fingers towards the ceiling, and adding in that lovely bind. Again, tight squeeze here, boa constrictor style. Relax through the shoulders. See if we can take the gaze to the fingertips and start to lift those arms. And release. Finding ourselves back in Tadasana here for just a moment. Check in. Okay, and if we are still with me, let's start to lift through that left leg, cross it over the right, finding just that baby eagle leg variation here to start toes down, okay, tightly squeezing that right leg around the left boa constrictor style. Okay, starting with the hands out to the sides here. When we're ready, we're starting to sink back through those hips into that standing leg. We're bending that knee a little deeper, Utkatasana style. Beauty, let's add the arms right over left, either that self-love hug or right into that eagle arm variation. Relaxing through those shoulders, letting them sink away from the ears, maybe taking those fingertips towards the sky. Tight squeeze here, holding, and let go. Unbind, unwind, bringing that foot down, little jiggle wiggle to take that away. Okay. Let's add some knocking on heaven's door here, letting those hands come and wrap around the body, a little sway, tap, tap. This can feel really good. Be soft in the knees as we do this. Maybe let that gaze be humble. Tap, tap, And just really go as fast or as slow as it feels good to you, as big or as small. Little semicircles with the arms here. Ta-da, ta-da. And last little bit. Knock, 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 knock. And inhale, let's take those arms up, reach, plant through the feet. Maybe slight back bend if we're feeling saucy. And exhale, let's take those fingertips down towards the toes, towards the ground, all the way down. Bend the knees and step it back. Nothing fancy, just come down to the sits bones, swing the legs around. We'll be finishing up with just a little bit of groundwork here now before we, get into that lovely rest. The arms out towards the side walls. Let's start to bend and plant the soles of the feet towards the ground, knees towards the ceiling. Check here to make sure I didn't have dirty feet for you guys, through the legs. Soles of the feet are shining towards the front of the room. Shins are parallel to the ceiling, calves to the ground. Let's exhale those legs all the way over to the right and down, maybe bringing that lovely right hand to the upper left thigh. Now you might be feeling something through that glute and into that hip or through the torso. Just be mindful to also try and keep those shoulders rooted here. We're keeping gaze neutral. So avoiding that urge to open up into that full twist, letting the gaze wander. If you've already done so, that is a-okay. Beauty, let's start to unwind. Use the inhale, bring the legs back up and over to the other side. Same options here. If you need, know that you can always use a block or bolster between or under the legs. Again, a blanket under the shoulders goes a very long way, especially if those shoulders are lifting away from the ground. Maybe we're using that left hand this time to the upper right thigh, letting those hips stack just a little bit deeper. And again, we're just keeping that gaze neutral for now. Let's start to unwind, finding our way back through to neutral. Give those lovely legs a hug. Wrap the arms around the shins. Pull them in. Maybe forehead comes towards the knees. And we roll on down, planting the soles of the feet. They might be close to the glutes. Let's bring the arms along the sides of the body here, walking the shoulders away from the ears, deeper under that back body, and firmly into your mat, grounding. You need walk the feet in a little bit closer here. You can also grab the edges of your mat. Let's start to firmly plant through the feet, lift through the hips, and roll through that back body as belly and chest start to fall towards the chin and towards the face. So if we're creating a slide with that upper body from the knees, thighs, and down. Again, keep pressing through those shoulders. Keep the gaze towards the ceiling panel. Start to press through the big toe mounds, inside arches of the feet. And exhale, slowly making our way down. Let's heel toe the feet wide. Let the knees momentarily fall towards one another. Breath or two here. Take your time. And then starting to heel toe those feet towards one another and the knees wide, a little opposition. So we come into Supta Baddha Konasana, that reclined butterfly, reclined cobbler's pose. Let's bring the arms out towards the sides of the body, maybe palm up. Any props that you would like, go ahead, we can find them. And we'll slowly start to extend the legs long. If you'd like a prop under the crown, feels really nice here as we enter into our Shavasana. Big, bold breath in. And let it go. Allowing ourselves to stay here, aware with no effort. Maybe a few moments, upwards to 7 minutes or more. What if this was the new version of 7 minutes in heaven? A lot more PG than the original. Anyways, if you're ready to start to rejoin that world around, I would just like to take a moment and thank you so much for joining me today. Please remember to eat something super, super yummy. Today, something super, super yummy is going to be cotton candy. And if we are doing a no sugar thing, maybe just go for some grapes. Once again, thank you so much for coming to play today. I hope it was everything you wanted and all of what you needed. If you would like to join me again, be on the lookout for some more new content as I try to stay a little more regular in my posting. Otherwise, you can always find me in Saskatoon for public classes, either at Play Studio or at Pure Living Now, as I'm no longer at Oxygen. You can also maybe find my website and take a peek. There's a lovely retreat coming up to Nicaragua in December 2025. We're going from the 7th to the 13th, and we're cultivating our relationship with rest, tapping into the polyvagal theory, our pain and the brain, and as well as having those meditations, those lovely scenic walks, delicious, yummy food, and of course, daily practices. If that sounds like something that you would love to join in on, please don't be afraid to find that information on my website and email me for more information. I hope you have a fantastic day. And until next time, fly high, butterflies.